Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive with me? Today we're going to be exploring some natural approaches to managing cataracts, a topic that's probably way more relevant to a lot of you than you might think.
hmm
We've got a ton of info from Dr. Berg for this one. YouTube videos, articles, notes, all that good stuff.
Yeah, this deep dive should be especially interesting if you're curious about alternatives to surgery and, all the science behind how what we eat affects eye health.
Totally. I'm always up for exploring natural remedies. And one thing that stood out to me was that Dr. Berg seems kind of hesitant about jumping straight into cataract surgery.
Yeah.
He cites some statistics that made me think twice, like 42% of people getting dry eyes after surgery and 20% having droopy eyelids.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, that is, those are significant numbers for sure. I think it's important to, acknowledge that Dr. Berg is bringing up some valid concerns. But it's also crucial to remember that surgical techniques are, always improving,
Right.
and each
Yeah,
person's situation is
of
unique.
course.
So while we're exploring these natural approaches, it's always best to talk to your doctor to get personalized advice.
Always good advice.
Eh.
So getting into the natural stuff, Dr. Berg has these really interesting analogies he uses to explain things.
Oh, yeah.
Like, remember that car rust analogy for oxidative stress?
Oh, yeah.
He's basically comparing high blood sugar to, like, road salt for your eyes, saying it makes them rust over time.
Right, right. It's a pretty powerful image.
Yeah.
But, maybe it's a bit of an oversimplification.
Okay.
Really, what we're talking about here is, aging and how our diet changes over time. And our body's ability to make those antioxidants starts to decrease.
Yeah, makes sense.
So think of antioxidants like your internal rust proofing.
Yeah. Okay, so as we get older, we got to be even more careful about getting those antioxidants through what we eat.
Exactly. And that's where Dr. Berg's focus on plant pigments comes in. He talks about two main groups, carotenoids and anthocyanins.
Okay, the colorful heroes of the eye world, right?
Yeah.
So where do we find these superpigments? What's on the grocery list?
All right, well, let's start with carotenoids.
Okay.
Think about those bright veggies like carrots, sweet potatoes, bell peppers. You've also got egg yolks, and even grass-fed meat can have a good amount of carotenoids.
Wait, grass-fed meat, how does that work?
Well, it all comes down to the connection between what animals eat and the nutrients that, they pass on to us.
Okay.
Grass is naturally full of beta-carotene, and our bodies turn that into vitamin A, which is, really important for good vision.
Right.
So grass-fed animals, they build up more carotenoids, and then we get that benefit when we eat them.
Oh, interesting. So what we eat is affected by what our food eats. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm putting grass-fed meat on the list. What about those anthocyanins? Where do we find those?
For anthocyanins, we're talking about the reds, purples, and blues. Berries, especially choke berries, are like anthocyanin superstars. Red cabbage is good too, especially the sprouts. And yeah, you guessed it, egg yolks are back again.
Uh-huh.
Really proves that eating the rainbow is good for your eyes too.
This is making me want a big, colorful salad already. But Dr. Berg gets even more specific with his berry kefir remedy for eye health, right? Tell me about this magical mix.
Oh, yeah. He recommends blending a cup of berries with a cup of unsweetened whole milk kefir, ideally from grass-fed animals.
Okay, that's pretty tasty. But I'm guessing there's a good reason for these specific ingredients.
You bet. Dr. Berg picks kefir over regular milk because of lactose issues. Kefir is fermented, so it tends to be gentler on digestion.
Makes sense. Lactose intolerance is pretty common.
And then there's the whole unsweetened thing. Remember, oxidative stress. Keeping that blood sugar stable is super important for fighting it.
Right. Got to keep that rust away.
Exactly. And lastly, the grass-fed factor. Just like with the meat, what a cow eats affects the nutrition of the kefir. It's all about getting the most out of those good compounds.
Wow. So much to think about for just one simple shake.
Yeah, really.
I'm curious, does Dr. Berg say how often to drink this?
He suggests having it once a day, like a daily dose of eye-loving nutrients.
Okay, one a day for happy eyes. Of course, we're not doctors here, so it's always best to talk to yours before making any big changes to your diet or anything like that.
Absolutely. Always good to be safe.
So we've covered a lot of ground already, from the potential issues with cataract surgery to the whole science behind oxidative stress and how powerful those colorful plant pigments are.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into the specifics of grass-fed products and all the benefits they might have.
Right.
There's so much to unpack here.
There really is a lot to consider. It's kind of fascinating to think we might have more control over our long-term vision than we realize.
Yeah.
It's easy to just assume it's all about genetics and getting older.
Right.
But Dr. Berg's approach really suggests that what we do every day, especially what we eat, could make a big difference.
I totally agree. It makes you feel like you can actually do something about it, you know?
Right.
Speaking of doing something, Dr. Berg also talks about those N-acetylcarnosine NAC eye drops.
Yeah.
He seemed pretty specific about using a certain kind.
He did.
These eye drops sound pretty high-tech.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about how they work and how they actually get those antioxidants right into the lens?
Well, he makes a distinction between N-acetylcarnosine and N-acetylcysteine,
Okay.
which are both forms of NAC.
Okay.
But he says that N-acetylcarnosine is the one that's specifically good for the eyes.
Okay.
So N-acetylcarnosine is what's called a dipeptide, meaning it's made up of 2 amino acids, beta-alanine and histidine.
Gotcha.
And carnosine itself, it's already found naturally in our bodies, especially in muscles and brain tissue.
Yeah.
And it's known for being a strong antioxidant and having these anti-glycation properties.
Hold on. Anti-glycation. What does that even mean?
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other thing. To put it simply, glycation is basically when sugar molecules latch onto proteins or fats in your body, and it causes damage and contributes to aging. Think wrinkles, stiff joints, even cataracts. Yeah, it's like sugar is gumming up the proteins, making them less effective.
Okay.
And in the eyes, this can lead to that clouding of the lens, which is what we know as cataracts.
So carnosine is like a shield against this whole sugar attack.
Exactly. And the N-acetyl part of N-acetylcarnosine is important because it helps the carnosine get through the surface of the eye better and reach the lens, which is where those cataracts form.
Okay.
It's like it gives those antioxidants a special pass to get right to where they're needed most.
I like that. So these eye drops are delivering this concentrated dose of protective carnosine right where the cataracts are happening.
Right, like sending in reinforcements. But as with any supplement or treatment, it's super important to do your research, talk to your doctor, and make sure you're choosing a good brand.
Definitely. Making informed decisions is so crucial when it comes to our health. You know, I actually tried that berry kefir shake,
Oh, yeah.
and I was surprised by how much I liked it. It felt like a really nice, refreshing way to start the day.
Yeah, it does sound pretty good.
It is. So to sum it up, Dr. Berg thinks this shake helps fight cataracts in a few ways. Reducing oxidative stress, giving you a boost of antioxidants, and helping with gut health, which can also indirectly affect eye health.
Yeah, that's a good point. We often forget about the connection between our gut and our overall well-being.
Absolutely. So remember how Dr. Berg was really big on runny egg yolks?
Oh, yeah, he really emphasized those.
It seems like he thinks egg yolks are these unsung heroes for eye health.
Yeah.
What is it about them that makes them so beneficial?
Well, they're full of those carotenoids and anthocyanins we talked about. And they also have choline, which is good for dry eyes. You know, thinking about those potential complications from surgery, like dry eyes, makes me even more interested in these natural approaches.
Me too. It's definitely made me think about making some changes to what I eat.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing how powerful food can be. But of course, this isn't medical advice or anything.
Of course not.
Oh.
Always check with your doctor before making any big changes to your diet or health routine.
Absolutely. This deep dive has really given us a lot to think about.
It really has.
It's incredible how much we can do to maybe even protect our vision just by making simple choices every day.
Yeah. It's been a real eye-opener for me.
Huh, nice one.
Before we wrap up, though, there's one more thing I'm curious about. Dr. Berg was really pushing grass-fed everything. Meat, kefir, even milk. What's so important about what those cows are eating? I know we touched on it earlier, but can we dive a little deeper into that?
Yeah, you're right on the money there. It
Yeah.
really comes down to this fascinating connection between what animals eat and the nutrients they pass on to us humans. It's like this ripple effect, you know?
So a healthier, happier cow equals more nutrient-packed food for us.
Exactly. When cows graze on their natural diet, which is grass, they've taken this whole variety of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. You know, their bodies are meant to process all that. And then that directly affects the nutrition we get from them, whether it's the meat, the milk, or the kefir.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But how does this specifically relate back to eye health?
Well, remember those carotenoids we talked about?
Yeah.
Grass is a great source of beta-carotene, and our bodies convert that into vitamin A, which is super important for keeping our eyes healthy. When cows eat grass, they store these carotenoids, and then we get the benefit when we eat those foods. It's like a direct line of those nutrients going from the pasture to our plate.
So basically, grass-fed means more nutritional bang for our buck.
Yeah.
More vitamins, more antioxidants, and ultimately, more good stuff for our eyes. It's like that saying, you are what you eat, but for cows.
Exactly. You are what your food eats, right? It's a good reminder that our food choices have a wider impact than we might think. Supporting those sustainable farms that care about animal welfare and natural diets, it benefits everyone, us and the planet. It's all connected.
Wow, this has been so insightful. I'm already thinking about how I can add more grass-fed options to my diet. This whole deep dive has been a real eye-opener, pun intended. We've learned so much about taking care of our eye health naturally, from the dangers of oxidative stress to all the benefits of antioxidants and those colorful plant pigments. We've covered a lot.
And don't forget about those special NAC eye drops and choosing grass-fed products whenever you can. It's pretty amazing how much we can do to protect our vision just through the choices we make every day.
It's really inspiring. So to all our listeners out there, go ahead and stock up on those berries and kefir, swap those regular eggs for pasture-raised ones, and keep an eye out for those grass-fed options at the store. And hey, while you're at it, take a second to appreciate how everything's connected, from the soil to the plants to the animals and all the way to us. Our health depends on keeping that balance in check.
Well said. On that note, I think it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive. But remember, this journey of discovery never really ends. Keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep those eyes sparkling.
Until next time, everyone take care.